Hi, I'm Bill Steele, and I'm co-director of the co-leader, I guess we call it, of Proyecto Espeleológico Sistema Huautla, and the acronym is PESH. We call it the PESH Project, and that's the ongoing exploration and study of the greatest cave in the world, which is in southern Mexico, named Sistema Huautla. We've been exploring it for 35, 36 years now, and our 2016 expedition's about to start. The other co-leader of PESH, Tommy Shiflett from Virginia, and I accompanied a British expedition to Huautla in 2013. We hadn't been there since 2007, so it was a return to one of our favorite places. And while we were there with the British, we realized that we really loved the place, and it's going to take several years to completely explore this vast cave system. So we organized the new project and gave it a new name and a name in Spanish, and came up with the logo that's on my chest here on this shirt, and said that we were going to have 10 expeditions 10 years in a row, and the 2016 expedition will be the third of those. We had one in 2014, one in 2015, and now this year, the third of 10. And last year was very successful, so was 2014. But I'm predicting and saying publicly that this is going to be the breakthrough year, because we saw last year that we are on the brink of some major discoveries. And we found 2 new sections that are going to be explored this year with deep underground camps. As it seems to often go with original exploration, your main discoveries happen at the end. And that can be a little frustrating, because you wonder if it's going to be a good year and you're going to have any big discoveries. And then once again in 2015, we did at the end of the expedition. In fact, it was almost by accident. 3 people went deep in the cave system to winterize it. And what that means in a deep cave in the tropics is that you're going to pull your ropes up shafts so that water during the rainy season doesn't destroy them, and go back to an underground camp where you might have things stashed for the next year, like sleeping bags. Make sure they're sealed real well, and you got a desiccant in with them. And 3 people went in to do that. Go in, come out a couple of days later, but when they got to the deep underground camp, about 450 meters deep and out horizontally quite a distance, one of them came down with a dysentery, and it was going to take a day or 2 to get over that. Ate a bunch of Pepto-Bismol and figured he'd get over it. So that left 2 people kind of idle to either stay in camp and wait for him to recover, or go off and find something to poke around in and hope to find some new passages. Well, they went to a real minor lead, as we call it, like a lead with a newspaper reporter. In other words, a place that there may be some unexplored passages, but you just don't know. The sketcher in a survey indicated that there might be something there. So they went to look at that because it was kind of close to that underground camp, and it was a real minor lead, and turned out to be a major lead. That it opened up right away into some big interconnecting tunnels, and it kind of puzzles us why the geology is like it is, but that's part of the fun of cave exploration, is figuring it out. You can't really predict it ahead of time, because Mother Nature throw curves your way, and you have to go to know. And they ended up, the 2 people that explored this ended up naming it Mexaguilla, which is a combination of the words Mexico and lecheguilla. Lecheguilla is, of course, a kind of cactus, but a major cave in the United States is named that. It's within Carlsbad Caverns National Park, and it's thought to have some of the greatest formations of any cave in the world. And this section appears to be like that. And one of those 2 people is a veteran of many trips in the Lecheguilla in New Mexico, and he said, this is as good. And so it's a pretty neat name they came up with. When you're original explorer, that's one of the benefits of that. You get to name things, and they did that. One aspect of our expeditions to southern Mexico, to Sistema Huautla, that we're real pleased with is our relationship with Mexican scientists, and we're supporting them. And 2 years ago on our first expedition, we invited a professor of biology from UNAM, which is the largest, most prestigious university in Mexico. It's in Mexico City, and he's well known in his field. in his field is arachnids, spiders, scorpions, and they can be found near cave entrances. And in the case of Huautla, even deep within the caves, there's been scorpions found, and they're cave adapted. Troglodytic it's called. So they've evolved in a dark, silent environment, and they have no skin pigmentation and no eyes. So they're very interesting to scientists. And he came with 3 graduate students 2 years ago. This last year he returned, and they've found, I think to date, they've found 12 new species, unknown species of arachnids, including some scorpions, or 1 new species of scorpion, which is a good thing, according to him, because up to 50,000 people die a year from scorpion stings, mostly in the Middle East, and if they find a new one, it's possible to get another anti-venom from it. And then last year we had a paleontologist come from a government agency. He's a PhD student, and we expect his professor to come with him this year, because we found a major paleontological site in one of the caves, and there's just been a preliminary identification of what bones are laying on the top of a talus cone, and Lord knows what's inside that talus cone, because it's beneath where there used to be an entrance thousands of years ago, and there's not anymore. It's closed off on the surface, and it appears to be the scapula of a giant ground sloth, which is a great big animal, weighed up to 2,000 pounds, and they're extinct now. And that, if that's what it is, it expands the known range of those during the last ice age. And he thought that he saw bison rib bones sticking out of the talus cone, which is real mystifying that you'd have bison in the mountains of southern Mexico, because it's a plains animal. So it's pretty neat to be able to do that kind of research. And then the third we haven't had before is Mexican geologist. The geologic studies that we've done on Sistema Huautla have been by graduate students from the United States. And this year we're going to have a professor and 2 graduate students come, and their expertise is dating caves. Dating meaning figure out how old they are. Because we've only had a hunch, an educated hunch, that the Huautla caves are up to 6 million years old. But we don't really have any evidence to base that on, other than you can just tell they're really, really old when you're in them. And we've been in other caves that have been dated. But this time they will date them, and the way they do that is by taking a long core sample of a big stalagmite. And it's got rings like the rings of a tree. And also date the sediments, because it's there's sediments that have washed in. There will be pollens from ancient times in the sediments, and they can date those. So the stalagmite dating is going to be older, but the sediment dating will then back it up in terms of the cave was there, obviously, when the sediments got washed in. The passage was there. So that's pretty neat, pretty exciting, and they're real happy to be coming. And once they get there, it'd be a matter of how deep can they go, you know, where's their skill level. But we can train them, and we can babysit them in and out, and we'll get them where they need to go. But they may be surprised at how tough it is. I know the paleontologist was last year. He thought he was good at it, but then he found out that going straight up a rope is a lot harder than going down it. I've got the flag of the Explorers Club with me. I'm a member of the Explorers Club. In fact, I'm a fellow emeritus. That indicates that I'm up in years and been a member for a long time. This is an award. You apply to carry the flag of the Explorers Club, and you can carry it on expeditions that are considered worthy. And this is going to Huautla. This has got a number on it, flag number 73, and when they send you the flag, they also send you a letter that tells you all the places it's been. And this flag went into the field on an expedition for the first time in 1937, and it's been out almost every year since. So it's a bit tattered, and it's a real honor to have it with us. We're pleased to be sponsored by several companies and organizations. The National Speleological Society is the organization of people interested in caves in the United States, and we're known as an official project of the NSS, the National Speleological Society. One of our main sponsors is Whole Earth Provision Company in Austin, Texas, and we've got a wonderful relationship with Whole Earth. Others, Pigeon Mountain Industries, which makes rope, and I've known the people that founded that company from the beginning in the early 70s, and they donate some rope and we buy more with a good discount. And this year we're taking 6,000 feet of new rope with us, and had about the same amount last year because ropes do wear out. And it takes a lot of rope to go very deep in the caves. So we're real happy with the sponsorship we have. Climb Tech here in Austin, Texas is another sponsor, and I really like their equipment. We use their hardware, their climbing hardware, hangers and carabiners, and I like their ascender a lot for climbing a rope. Two other sponsors that are Austin-based are Collins Street Bakery. I guess they're Corsicana-based, but they've got stores throughout Texas. That's a very high-quality bakery, but they also import coffee from Costa Rica, and they've been generous in donating the coffee that we drink in these expeditions, and that tends to get people up in the morning when you got some good coffee you can smell and they get going. And that's part of leadership of the expedition, is whatever you can do to motivate people to get moving. Coffee helps. And also Cave Skins. Cave Skins is like a cottage industry based just outside Austin, but they make custom-made caving packs and caving suits, caving pants, and so forth, and they're a sponsor of us, give us a good discount, and they're happy with us that we've steered some business their way. For more information, interested people can follow us on peshcaving.org and wholeearthprovision.com.